I'm joined today by Lindz West, LZ7. You may well know him as that. How you doing, Lindz?
Really good, man. Very warm, but good.
Yeah, it is fairly warm. Last time
Yeah,
we
it is.
spoke, you were about to go off on the Jason Derulo tour.
Yeah.
How'd that work out?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was spanned 3 months. We did every arena in Europe and the UK. And it was just incredible. Like, just what an honour to be on the stage, but also given the privilege to kind of share faith in a place that lots of people probably wouldn't ever step into a church. And we just get this opportunity to go and shine a light in a world that often doesn't hear about it.
I guess some people would say, oh, you shouldn't do that. That's not Christian. That's stupid. Because like you say, you're going where Christians wouldn't be invited to go otherwise.
Yeah,
Which is why it's so powerful.
Well, it's Matthew, isn't it? You know, it's where Jesus says, "Go and make disciples of all nations." Yeah. Like, this is the go, this is the send. And I think,
Amen.
you know, being a light in a dark world, you can't be a light in your own world. You've got to be a light in a dark world. And I'm not saying that world's particularly dark, but I'm just saying that you know, being able to get to that platform where people are listening to what you've got to say because they're there for an amazing show, because Jason puts on an amazing show. And then you get the privilege to kind of share your faith, and people are just applauding, scanning for alpha, finding alpha courses. It was just nuts.
Excellent. I did see some of the videos that you posted, and
Right.
He definitely does seem like the showman. He definitely does seem like that.
He knows. I mean, one, he knows how to dance. Two, he knows how to put on a show. Three, he's got some amazing choreographers, and the lighting to the staging to the screens. It's just next level. It's unbelievable.
Have you learned stuff while you're on tour with him? Are you picking up stuff?
Picking up dance moves.
Well, that and ideas and stuff and moves.
No, I mean, like iron sharpens iron. So I definitely learned from him around like owning the stage and being in that spotlight. But we've always had this. I've always maintained this thing is like, if you're happy in your own skin and you're going to party and worship God in the own way that you do it, which is what an LZ7 set is. We're just going to chuck ourselves about and sweat and throw 360 joints up in the air. Your body's 360 joints. You throw them about and you get sweaty. If you're happy in your own skin to do that, people then they see the authenticity of it and just go, oh yeah, I want to part. I want to part of that. I want to be a part of this. And as you give out, you get back. You give out, you get back. And he's very good at doing that in a different way. Ours is very much hands up, drum and bass, put your hands up, jump in, blah. His is very much like stand, watch. It's the choreography's amazing, his vocals amazing, and just learned loads of bits and just, I mean, technical stuff right the way down to what he does on stage beforehand, his warm up. Like I definitely learned, he does a good hour and a half warm up before he even steps on the stage. And I probably spend about 20 minutes. So I've increased mine. I'm like, actually, I go on stage warm, like ready.
Yeah.
So they're little bits like that, just invaluable.
Excellent. And hopefully he's learned some stuff from you too.
Yeah.
About who Jesus is and why that matters.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Cool. For people who just do the basics, for people who don't know what LZ7 is, just talk us through that first of all briefly.
Yeah. So LZ7 is it's a band. It's kind of like, you can imagine like a DJ, samplers, live drums, live guitar. It's kind of drum and bass, EDM, a bit of trap, but it's everything that kind of like moves you. So it's like the music is meant to move. It's a fusion of these genres, but it's meant to make you move. And one of the things we try to do is create an encounter where young people can encounter Jesus.
Yeah.
But the lyrics of our songs, and the reason we do it is because we throw stuff into the mainstream so that it creates a platform that doesn't hold any barriers back. So everybody's welcome. And I think music creates this beautiful platform for the purpose of hope and a message of hope and a message of faith. And, LZ7 was set up to take the life-changing message of Jesus to young people through music. That's our mission statement.
Yeah.
And I guess if we're not doing that, we just don't do it. And that's very different to perhaps a Brandon Lake, the worship side of stuff, and a Matt Redman. But our stuff is very much being out there in the world to create that platform and that encounter. And we set up a charity, a ministry called Light, after launching our first single in 2011, Little Light of Mine. That was kind of our, I guess, arrival on the scene. And it's just being exactly that, light in a dark world. Well, now, whether that's on a schools tour with Illuminate, that's our schools tour, or whether that's a mainstream tour, or that's a festival, or it's big church, or it's somewhere out in Holland or Scandinavia or somewhere, it's the same message. The method might change, but the message remains the same. But it's there for young people to just lift their heads and realise there's something more to life than this. And if this is the first crack of the window where they go, oh man, that inspired me so much, amazing. But if this is like your life-changing decision where you're going to go, I want to know who this Jesus is, just as equally as good. And we span all of that, and it's such a privilege.
So lots of schools work as well.
Yeah, lots. Yeah, good fun. We'll take over the whole town, and in line with Key Stage 3 and 4, and it will be personal, social, health, education, and whatever the school is dealing with. So they might have a bullying issue, there might be some racism, misogyny, just whatever young people are going through. We'll build all of our lessons, workshops around whatever they're going through, and tailor make it to them. But it's a lot of fun. It's really inspirational. It's about young people that have overcome adversity, and then we inspire these young people to become part of the change. And you'll see 250 year 10s kind of looking at me like, looking at me at first, and then by the end of it, absolutely raving.
Yeah.
And then you'll see the teachers, and I'll do this universal stand where I'm saying, if you want to become part of the change instead of part of the problem, when I get to 3, stand up. And teachers are going, they ain't standing up. And you go 1, 2, 3, and the whole place will stand up. And then they'll look at each other and go, oh my gosh. And that's that moment that you can say, look, your family, look after each other, be there for each other, be the change in your life, but also the change in someone else's life. And then we invite them to the show on a Friday night, and we do the response again is, if you really want to live your life on purpose, let me tell you about Jesus. You put him in the driving seat, you have a day-by-day relationship with him, that changes everything. That doesn't make you a weaker character. It doesn't make you, it doesn't mean your life's going to be sunny sorted, but what it does mean is that someone's with you for the journey. And that's the key thing is, when you've got a pandemic in the UK and Europe of youth suicide, under 25's biggest killer, under 40's men, the biggest killer. I'm there going, the antidote is knowing that Jesus loves you and he's got a plan for your life and he's there for you. And if we can create a platform for the music to be able to speak into that, then we'll go do it. So at heart, I'm an evangelist. I love music. I love what music does to me. I love what it creates to me. And sorry, my phone just went funny then. And I think that's where I'm kind of sat in this world, just going, what can we do to build kingdom, serve church, reach young people with a message of hope?
Yeah. I wasn't going to talk about my stroke, but I've had a stroke recently, and the one thing that kept me going was deciding that I'm going to follow Jesus. I don't understand why. I'd love to know why. I don't know how. The doctors don't know why. But I'm making the decision to follow the only person that's never yet failed me, which is Jesus Christ, and deciding I'm going to put my trust in him despite the situation. And it's not pretty, but I'm making that decision to follow Jesus Christ. I made that decision when I was 7. I'm nearly 50. I'm making that same decision today because he's the one person that doesn't change in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Totally right.
So I asked you this last time, but I think it's important just to state it for people to hear it. Really, do you only go to big schools, or do you go to little ones as well?
No, we kind of focus on high schools. So, but when we launched the Illuminate tour at the House of Lords, and we had this Baroness that was there, and she came up and she really like eyeballed me, and she just said, please don't forget the market towns and the villages. So, and I was like, I really took that, and I was like, yeah, fair play. We're going to do inner city London, Manchester, Liverpool, and then we're going to go to Ilfracombe. So last week we were in Ilfracombe in one school, and 400 kids turned up to the show. Wow. And you're just like, let's not, let's do it. All things to all people that you might save some. And then we'll be in, a little market town like Rushden. And then the week after we'll be in Bath, and we're in Stoke-on-Trent, and then we're in Nottingham, and then we're back to, I don't know, some Stroud, like somewhere smaller. So nothing's off the radar at all. But it's definitely kind of high school age, that key stage 3 and 4 age, I think is really key.
It just reminds you the idea that Jesus was always interested in the one. Yeah. And I know you're like reaching hundreds of people at the same time, but it's still the same principle. It's about the one that matters.
Yeah. And if you came along and sort of watched one of our lessons, you'd see that I try to learn at least like 10 to 20 names of the lesson, so I can go, yo, Jack, listen up, bro. This is for you. And he's like, what? You remember my name? I'm like, yeah. Because kids, all they want to know is that you know their name, and that's identity, and that's acceptance, and you start from that foundation, and Jesus just knows your name, and he's after the one.
Yeah. And people want to be heard, right? They want to know that their story not just can be told, but that someone's actually going to listen and wants to listen, which is, I did schools work in the 90s in Manchester. I think I shared this before, but It was the one thing that struck me was it doesn't matter what school you went to, and there were some rough schools and some posh schools and some nicer schools, and it's the same people. It's just the people who need to know Jesus because they need hope, and there's only one source of hope that I know, and that's Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, hope so. Hope so. What are you doing? What's on your radar at the moment? I know you're doing schools work. Obviously, that's a big part of what you're doing. But have you got any more sort of set things in motion at the moment?
Yeah. So in the autumn, we're going to go on tour with a D&B artist called General Levy. If you Google him, he did the soundtrack to Paddington, and he's huge in that world. And he's doing academies up and down the country, or academy-sized venues. So we're going to open for him. That kind of takes us September, October. Potentially going back on tour with Jason for the USA leg and Australia. We're just talking about it, just trying to work out is that a possibility? Can we do it? Can we make it work? And then there's 2 tours. There's one in Bath and one in Stoke-on-Trent that are in October. So we've got a pretty full. Summer's pretty full. Obviously, we're taking holidays at the moment, but summer's full. Big Church Festival. We've got another gig in Norway. We've got one in Scotland, and then we hit September running. It all starts again. So it's exciting.
You ain't going to be bored anytime soon.
Say again.
You're not going to be bored anytime soon.
No, totally. It's too much to do.
Yeah, the thing that struck me as you were talking about opening for these other artists is, in your own right, you're an artist. You write songs, you perform. How do you kind of deal with opening for somebody else? Because it just feels like a relevant question. Because that's, to me, that takes some humility to think I'll open for them. But I'm guessing it's because of the mission that you're about, which is showing Jesus to people. And however you get there, I guess you don't care, but it's the message that's the important part. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I do. I think we've done a lot of opening for different acts all over the world for different festivals, and our thing is to just serve what the festival's about. And obviously that will be sharing our faith, but that will also be serving, what do you want us to do? How do you want us to say it? Is there something going on with your stuff? And, we've done gigs with Lecrae and Andy Mineo and all these like huge artists in the Christian world. And I'm there just going, look, it's just an honor to be here. Like, I'm just happy to be on the stage and enjoy myself and getting to do something, getting to do something for the one I love and who loves me. It's just like, it's an honor and a privilege. So whatever guise that comes in, whether that's headlining festival or opening for, or being the first act, I'm like, let's go, man. I'm game. And I think when you serve, so let's say, for example, Big Church, when you're serving Big Church, Big Church is very much it's a worship event. They close on worship. LZ7's, it's definitely not that, as in we're not gonna suddenly get up and sing, 10,000 Reasons. Yeah. But we serve it and we just go, well, we're going to set the platform for, Matt and Phil Wickham and all these guys to come on, set the platform, warm them up, get them ready, open, serve the festival. And I think that's the same perspective in the churchy world for us, churchy festivals, as it is to mainstream stuff. Jay, we're just here to serve you, bro. What do you want us to do? So I see it more as an honor than it is anything else.
Yeah, I think in a sense I got the same sort of heart of, I say to people, how can I serve you? How can we help you? How can we lift you up? Because I don't care if I'm the centre of anything. I just want to build people up. I know what it's like to be squashed down. So I just want to build up others and try and give them a platform for their story, which is what we do really. It's their story, and sharing that story for me is really important, because I've got a story, but other people got other stories. And sometimes just letting someone share their own story, that's powerful enough for that one person. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
totally. I get that.
So that's really cool. Big Church, you're going to be there you got the Illuminate stages ever?
Yeah, so Illuminate stage, that's kind of like the shop window to the Illuminate tour. Yeah. So, the artists that come on tour with us across the schools, across the year. Yeah, I always feel like the Big Church is like the half-time show. So you watch the World Cup final. Yeah, maybe not that half-time show, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's where the manager gets the players in, gets them ramped up, gets them amped up and sends them out. And I think Big Church is a really good moment for that, where we have this Illuminate stage that's saying to the rest of the world, come with us on the journey. If you're a school, a governor, a teacher, a kid, a dad, and you want us to come and do one of the Illuminate tours in your schools, this is where you can sign up and get it done. So it's a great advert for it, but it's also allowing people to hear about the journey and to be a part of it and to, you know, send us out as well. So we love doing the Illuminate stage. It's a highlight of our year.
I love that stage. I always gravitate towards it.
It's good fun.
There's so much energy and life and hope, to be honest. That's what I get from that.
Totally right.
It is. In terms of people getting in touch with you, they're thinking, well, can you help me out? Can you help my school? How would they get in touch with you best?
If you just literally Google LZ7 or Light and just hit the email, it's like an info email, but it comes into us. So I think it's info@light.uk.com, and just ask the question, get the ball rolling, or just hit us up on social media. Like if you're on Instagram, drop us a DM and we'll send you all the details and cascade it up from there. Let's
go back a bit in time for you, because where did your love for creating music, where did that start from?
Yeah, like I'm a massive believer. There's two things that impact young people. For me, it was sport, and then the other side of it was music. And you know, I did a sports science degree because I loved it, and to be honest, it was the only thing I was good at. But I was a bit of a bedroom DJ, so I had a deck set up, and I'd be upstairs, and then I'd go and see like some of my mates DJ, and they were so much better than I was. But I was just picking out records and picking up white labels and going up to the shops, waiting for the drop, waiting for the thing to turn up, and I got booked for a couple of gigs, and I really enjoyed it. And then graduating university, working in London, you know, great job, great prospects, and turned up to a festival, Soul Survivor, where there's a band called the Worldwide Message Tribe that were playing there, and they said we're auditioning for new members, and my brother just looked at me and just went, "You should do that," and I was like, "What?" I said, "Do you know how far north Manchester is? Like, that's ridiculous. I'm in central London. Get out of it." And he was like, No. You can backflip and that. Breakdance, you do it. So I prayed about it and I auditioned, got in, and 5 days later moved to Manchester. And I moved into Wythenshawe. So I moved, I grew up in Windsor and Maidenhead. So I moved from the poshest to the poorest and absolutely loved it. Like, lived on an Eden team. That's 24/7 youth work. I was in schools in the day. Then I was after school. I was doing youth clubs and football, but I saw the impact of the music, and I truly believe that the message of the gospel never changes, but the method often does.
Yeah.
And we got to a point where the tribe was finishing, and I was like, okay, so the method's got to switch up a little bit. What do we do? So we started a prison tour, and we did a young offenders tour. So our first gig was with 250 young offenders, and I look like Chef Ramsay's little brother, and I'm there stood there going, this is going to go so wrong. And within 2 seconds, the whole place erupted. These two lads spinning on their heads. One comes running round. I think he's going to jaw me as he goes past. He runs and backflips off the wall. So I did it. And then the whole place went, "Wah!" And I saw this impact of the music. Halfway through it, invited people, the young offenders, to the chapel on the Sunday to start Alpha. And loads of them turned up. Like, you couldn't get them in. You couldn't get them in the chapel. So I was like, music's got this beautiful platform. So kind of started there, but always had this love of writing stuff, coming up with hooks, coming up with ideas. I'll get a whiteboard and pin it to the wall and just go, Lord, what do you want me to write about? I don't know. Remember that moment in time where you connected with Jesus, that moment that you got saved. So we wrote a song called Rewind, which came out last summer. It's rewinding to that moment. So in the gig, if you played it, you'd hear it and just be like, I can see what you're saying, but I'm now explaining it. That's what it's about. It's remember this moment right here where you just responded and said yes to hope. Yeah. Your relationship in Jesus. Rewind to that moment. Don't forget that moment. That's what the song's all about. And we I love that, like creating something from nothing and just going, God, what do you want us to do? And then seeing the end product. So I'm just like, it's amazing.
It's really satisfying. When I was in hospital in the last few weeks, 18 days in hospital, don't recommend it. I had a couple of the magazines that we produce, and I gave them to a few of the people that I just got a nudge. I can only put it that way. It just feels like giving them the magazine. And they were so made up that I give them something that I thought about them. We did a shout out for some of the nurses on the ward. They just wanted a shout out, so I set that up with the guys on the radio. Yeah. They were cheering in the background. They were so moved by it. It doesn't have to be something amazing sometimes to do stuff to make someone's world better. Making a shout out happen, it's really easy. And they'd never had one, and she was cheering almost in tears. Wow. So happy about it. And for me to make it happen was really easy. I just texted the person on the show and said, give a shout out to these people. They did that. Yeah. Her day, her world, the ward was made up. It's like, that's my name. I've heard my name on the radio. You know, it's a little thing, but so often we're looking for those really like grand, extravagant things that we can do to make someone's life better. But so often it's something that for us is actually really simple to do. And that's what I love about the gospel. God isn't asking us to be, do what you do. You know, not everyone can. He's not asking for everyone to do that. He wants you to do that. But he's asked for us to do something. And that something is often quite simple and quite small. And yet it can be so profound when we look at the one and then we look at that one person.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Thanks, Lindz, for this. It's I've loved your music for a long, long time. Really respect the way you work it. The Message Tribe, I worked with a little bit in Manchester when I was doing schools work. So I got to see some of what they did, and I saw what the music did. I saw how it changes lives because there's a positive message of hope. And if you're going around singing something that's pretty depressing, it's going to start going into your head. And that's why I love that. That's why lyrics are so important. That's why on radio we take out the bad language. That's all we do. That's all we have to do. And it changes because then you're singing something that's hopefully a bit more pure. And the words can change you, and the music can change you. It's like you say, it can create colour in a life where there is none. It's phenomenal what music can actually do. Which is why I'm really glad by your music, because there's a lot of rubbish out there. I'll be honest. I get a lot of rubbish music sent to me. Play this tune; it's really from God, and no, it's rubbish. Quite frankly, and then there's guys like you that come along and do something that's quality. And that quality matters because we're in a world where people can spot quality and they can spot authentic, like you were saying at the start. And that authenticity is so important.
Totally.
And it comes
totally
through in the music.
Yeah, it totally is. I think authenticity is what, if people smell a rat, they know.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not authentically you, and you know you're putting on something that's just not you. I think also, you know, BBC did a survey years ago, a few years ago, on what are you looking for in a role model? You know, young people, not Christian at all. And they said 82% came back saying, we just want people to be authentic.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm authentically just a white boy that loves partying, and that works. And if that works, that's authentically me. And I think that's the thing that translates.
I remember meeting Andy Hawthorne for the first time when they did a gig in a school. And he's exactly who I thought he was. And I love that. People meet me for the first time and think, you're exactly who we thought you were. I haven't got the energy to be somebody else. It's too hard.
Yeah, there you go.
It's easy to be me. Lindz, I'm really grateful for your time today. Thank you so much for this.
No worries at all.
I just want you to keep doing what you're doing because it's so awesome. And you're bringing hope to school kids and young people. And it matters, you know. It really matters because they're in a world, like you say, suicide in young people, it's almost criminal, really.
Yeah.
Young suicides because there is no hope. But you have that message of hope, and you're giving that to the young people and the children in schools, which it matters. It really matters.
Yeah. Thank you, mate.
So thank you for what you're doing, and keep going, mate. Keep doing what you're doing. I hope that the tour goes well for you.
Cheers, bud. Thanks for the time.
You're very welcome, mate.